Hey everyone, I'll talk to you a little bit today about the idea floating around in our culture that we can kind of find or we can create our own self. That we can either dig up from within us and find our real selves, or we can kind of create ourselves in some ways, and it becomes this big kind of do-it-yourself project where we get to shape ourselves. And I heard somebody refer to this as, with this idea that we're more plastic than ever, that in many ways there's things in our society that give us the impression that we can do this, right? So I can change the way I look by surgeries or different things. I can put off aging with certain creams or whatever, right? But I can choose my own style. I can be a part of some subculture, education, career. I can live wherever I want. I can curate my whole image publicly, but I can also, change who I am by being inspired and motivated and getting a personal coach or, going to the gym or whatever, right? And so we have this idea that we can choose and shape all these things. And there is a lot that we can choose, and a lot that has influence in our lives, and a lot of options, and there's things to give thanks for there. But we drift into this place where we think we can shape ourselves at the very core of who we are. And that gets dangerous, right? Because what we do is we either try to redefine who we are, and we take one of these things that we can kind of choose, right? Our education or our looks or our, how in shape and what kind of diet we eat, and we take these and we put those in the foundational place of our sense of self, right? Or perhaps we take something God has given us and we decide we're going to change that, and we're going to be something different, right? So we deny something that maybe he's made us for, or some way that he's made us, and decide we're gonna be something different. You see this very clearly right now in the realm of gender, where I'm digging up from within myself this sense of gender, whether I'm male or female, and I'm gonna listen to myself, this inside, and find it there. Or maybe I even take that from the society around me. And that can happen in a number of ways, but that's a pretty significant one that comes to mind. But you can see again, like I'm trying to build this sense of self, identity, image, and sometimes it's image, sometimes it is really, I'm trying to define myself and make myself into something different. And I'm trying to do that, and you can see where it gets really dangerous, right? For one, it's simply unstable. If I'm building my foundation or changing the foundation of who I am or trying to, that could change next week. It could all fall out from under me. If I try to develop a sense of self and who I am from the culture around me to fit their image or what they say I should be, man, the culture is going to shift next week. And it's going to say I should be somebody different. Or if I try to dig it up from within myself and be true to that could shift next week or next year, and suddenly I'm supposed to be somebody different. And so you can see the instability of this. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be true ourselves, and that there's a sense in which that's true. We shouldn't just fake things all the time. But we aren't to trust what we find inside, what our, internally what we're feeling or sensing is not the ultimate measure for what's true. We need to go outside of ourselves for our sense of self, right? And we'll get to more of that in a minute, but let me just point out, not only is it unstable, but it's unfulfilling. Not only is it unfulfilling, but it always needs the approval of other people around you. You always have to have other people because you've created this self. It's like you do this kind of DIY project, and now you got to show it to people and hope they think you did a good job. Does it fit the standards of the people around you? Does it seem right? And whatever, right? Not only that, but it'll crush you, right? So it's unstable, it's unfulfilling, it always needs the approval of others, and then it will crush you. Because you have this ideal, if it's your job to make yourself, then you have to do that. And you have this ideal self that you're trying to form, and guess what? You'll fail. You won't be on the cover of whatever business magazine. You won't be the ripped guy at the gym, at age 70 or whatever. Like, you won't measure up to this, ideal person that you have in your mind, this self you're trying to form. You just won't. And so there's a better way. There's a better way. And that is to find our identity from outside of ourselves and to listen to what God has said about us and ground that as the foundation of who we are. We know that we're human beings made in the image of God, created by Him. And that gives us value. And we know that He's created us for His glory, to live for Him, to reflect something of who He is in our creativity, in our work, in our love for others, in our relationships, in the way that we pursue what is right and good and beautiful. We know we have that purpose. We know who we are, what we were made for, based on what God has said. And as those who are redeemed in Christ, we know that we're now God's forgiven and adopted children, made to live on His mission of spreading the good news and bringing worshipers in to live for Him and follow Him. And so you see this is stable, right? It's fulfilling. It's what we were made for. It doesn't require the approval of others, and it won't crush you. Why? Because it's not up to you to go earn that or to make yourself that. No, in Christ you already are that. You're created by Him. You've been given a purpose to Him. You've been redeemed by Him, forgiven, made His child. And that can't be taken away. That's not unstable. It's not up to you to perform that or become that. You already are. Now you get to live out of that sense of self, the real sense of self that comes from someone outside of you that is true, that is spoken to you by the one who has made you. So there's nuances here and more to talk about, but I thought that might be helpful to think about, just where this sense of self and the danger of just seeing self as this improvement project that I got to constantly be working on, and the pressure we feel and the way it crushes us. So there's something better. We've been given an identity, a sense of self that we can get from God, from outside of us, that is real, that has purpose, that won't crush us. This is about grace first and foremost. So love you guys. Hope that's helpful. Have a good one.